Here are some Philips Marathon energy-saving three-way compact fluorescent light bulbs. These originally sold at Ocean State Job Lot for $5.99, and then they more recently sold again at the Goodwill for $3.99. These were, at one point, I would say some of the best CFLs you could buy. These were very, very good quality bulbs, and they were known to last an exceptionally long time. These two particular bulbs are still good, but they're not as good as the older ones. I don't know exactly how old these are. I was reading through some of the wording on the package, and it mentioned something about sending email, so it probably is at least into the 2000s, because I don't think a 90s model would have been talking about sending emails yet. These are, and the reason why these aren't as good is because these are the reduced mercury version. They're better for the environment, even though you have to throw out twice as many because they don't last as long. I think somewhere on the back it says somewhere on the back it talked about having reduced mercury content. There we go. This lamp is better for the environment. It says this lamp is better for the environment because it's reduced mercury content. It's the wrong it's not grammatically correct. All Philips Alto lamps give you end-of-life options which can simplify and reduce your lamp disposal costs depending on your state and local regulations. I have no idea what that means. So these are made in Poland, which is kind of unusual. You don't see, at least I certainly don't see many light bulbs being made in Poland. So it says it's similar to a 50, 100, and 150 watt incandescent three-way bulb, and this is measuring the electricity at 10 cents per kilowatt hour, and the 5-year lifespan is based off of 3 to 4 hours of use per day, for a total of 7,000 hour life. The older ones claimed a 10,000 hour life, and I believe they said it lasts 7 years, and many of those older bulbs lasted way longer than they claimed to, especially if it wasn't turned on and off too frequently. These allegedly consume 18, 26, and 34 watts, and the output allegedly 750, 1400, and 2025 lumens. These aren't the most efficient CFLs out there, which is particularly surprising considering that they're a little bit newer. But I will say that the light output amounts are pretty respectable. I don't know if this is like this in all other parts of the world, but in this country, for some reason which I don't understand, we measure light bulbs in terms of watts instead of in terms of light output like lumens. So, and the problem that creates is that, well, watts is a measurement of power, it's not a measurement of light, and so there is a variance in light output per bulb wattage. I printed out some charts here we'll take a brief look at to show what I'm talking about. This one's kind of blurry, but whatever. So, and you can see even these charts provide different numbers, so it's really not clear as to what we should really expect. And that's a bit of a problem. It's a bit of a problem for multiple reasons. In this particular scenario, it allows manufacturers who are making these energy-saving bulbs to operate on the really low end of the spectrum and claim it's equivalent in saving money, when in reality it's dimmer. So these, depending on what chart you look at, this chart says a 60 watt bulb can be anywhere between 500 and 850 lumens. This one says 750 to 940 lumens. This one says 7 to 800 lumens, and this one says 500 to 700. So in these charts we have a range that goes from 500 to 940. That's a very, very wide range and does not really leave you with what you can expect. These bulbs say 50 watt equivalent is 750 lumens, which is pretty high on the scale. The Eco Smart halogen, so-called Eco incandescent bulbs I like to use, I believe the 60 watt equivalent ones output 650 lumens, which is kind of on the low end of the scale, whereas these are on the high end. So at least I'll give it that, even though they're not the most efficient CFL out there, these do output, allegedly, I'm not going to measure it in the video, but these allegedly output a pretty good amount of light. In terms of the 100 watt equivalents, these bulbs say 1400 lumens. I believe the Eco incandescent from Eco Smart ones are 1200 lumens. And according to the chart, we can be anywhere from 1200 to 2300 is our biggest number on here, which is a huge. And 1200 versus 2300, that's really quite a difference. That's astronomical, actually. That's almost double. And then, so the Eco Smart ones are again, they're on the very low end of the scale, which is what I was saying before. They're more efficient, but they're also more dim. So it's in a way it's false advertising. These 1400 lumens, that's kind of on the low end of the charts that we have here, although it fits right in the middle of that chart. And then for 150 watts it says 2025 lumens, which is actually below all of these. So okay, so I guess the only thing I can say is that it's the lowest setting is pretty reasonably spec'd out in terms of lumens per watt equivalents, but I guess as you go up it becomes less impressive. Let's see what the lumens per watt is. I should have printed out a chart that has the different efficiencies. Actually this gives you an approximate. This thing says for a 60 watt CFL it should be 15 to 18 watts. So 18 is on the high end, especially considering that's only claiming to be a 50 watt. And then 100 watts is 25 to 30, which that does fit into. From back in the CFL days, what I can remember was 9 watt CFL, a 40 watt equivalent CFL is typically around 9 watts. A 60 watt equivalent CFL is typically around 13 watts. And then a 100 watt CFL is typically around 23 watts. This isn't too far off from that, but it's a little bit more. So let's see here. On low, or position 1, it is, do a calculation here. It is 41.6 lumens per watt. On medium it is 53.8 lumens per watt, and on high it is 59.5 lumens per watt. So accepting the accuracy of the brightness measurements provided and the power consumption provided, it becomes substantially more efficient as you turn up the brightness. which is kind of interesting. So I don't know if these are new or used or what. This one looks like it's got some blackening on the tube, so this one might be used. No, it doesn't seem like it's been opened. Oh, no, maybe it has been. Oh, it's hard to tell. I think this one might have been used. Yeah, I think this one's been used. So the other one we'll just leave in the box so as to not damage the box. This box is already damaged. How the heck did the previous owner get this out of here? I guess that's how. Yeah, it looks like this has been used. You can see there's a little bit of blackening at the bottom of the tube. This one is definitely sealed. This one's never been used. So these are not dimmable, which is expected. Use base down only. I'm glad it says that. Because what happens if you use it base up is all the heat from the tube goes into the base and then ballast fails prematurely. Alright, so let's we're going to use this lamp to test because this is three-way lamp. So here's a basic modern day 100 watt CFL, and for size comparison, these are very similar in size to a standard A19. These are big CFLs. The older ones were even bigger. This newer CFL is, it says 23 watts, 1600 lumens. Let's just calculate the efficiency right quick for the purposes of curiosity. So this one is 69.5 lumens per watt. So this is, again, accepting that the luminous output measurements and power measurements are accurate, which I don't know if they are. This is considerably more efficient. Okay, lights connected. We're going to be testing at 117 the volts. We'll go over to the amps and we'll turn it on. What's on it? So it's instant on, which is why the tube is so burnt at the bottom. It's going to take some time to warm up. It's warming up pretty quickly. It's cold in here too. It's only 62 degrees and it's already almost at full brightness, or what looks to me like full brightness. So the power consumption is 36 watts, so I guess the lamp must be on high, which is kind of odd. Would have expected it to start on low, unless this lamp is not three ways. I guess this lamp starts on high. That's unusual. Okay, so I guess we'll start on high. What the heck? Who turned that camera on? I must have turned it on when I brought it down to check the battery. So that's on high, and the wattage is 36 watts, 0.47 the amps with a power factor of 0.65. That's pretty abysmal. I'll go down to the medium. On medium, it is 22 the watts. What did it claim? 26. So that's a bit below spec. 0.35 the amps and 0.54 power factor, which is abysmal. And then on low, which I didn't see a change, it's still 22 the watts, 0.35 the amps, and 0.55 power factor. I don't know if this lamp is busted, or what the reasoning for it not having all three settings is. But it definitely is not changing. I don't know if that's because of the bulb or because of the lamp. I don't have any other three-way bulbs easily accessible to compare it to. If you put the shade on, it's pretty much indistinguishable from incandescent. It's a very good quality of light. It has good color rendering. There's no flicker or other anomalies. It does have a different color temperature from high to medium, and I would assume low also has a different color temperature. I've encountered that before with other three-way CFLs. But as you can see here, the color rendering is pretty good. It only claims that the color rendering, I think it said 82. Yeah, does it say 82? 82 color rendering index, 2700 Kelvin color. So it's not the best CRI, but it's pretty reasonable. That looks pretty good to me, both in person and on the camera. It's kind of convenient having all these different colored tools here. Why the tripod is all wonky like this today? Oh, what's up with that? Well, anyways, so that's a pretty good bulb. Yeah, the quality of light is, I would say it's indistinguishable from incandescent to me. There's no flicker. Actually, it just started to... I wonder if this is near the end of life. It's a little bit, I wouldn't say it's flickering, but it kind of looks like an old magnetic ballast when it's cold. That's kind of what it started to look like. It didn't do that when I first turned it on. I suspect this bulb is probably very high hours. Let's see. Is there any banding on the camera? I don't see any banding on the camera. Well, maybe a little bit, but that is normal for fluorescent lighting, because technically fluorescent lights do flicker. Well, we know it's high hours because of how burnt the bottom of the tube is. But it's still working, and that says something good about it. That's a perfectly good CFL. I wish I knew exactly when these are from. I want to say these are probably from maybe even the mid-2000s. I don't even see a copyright date on here. There's nothing that's giving me any kind of hint about the date of manufacturer. Allegedly, these have a 5-year warranty. It's guaranteed. It says based on reasonable household usage. And I don't know who's to define that, but it says based on reasonable household usage. When used in accordance with package and bulb directions, probably meaning ballast down, tube up. If this bulb does not last for the time period guaranteed, based on up to 3 to 4 hours average use per day, 7 days per week, Philips will send you a replacement bulb upon receipt of the returned bulb. Register receipt and proof of purchase. Please call our toll-free number, write to LLG, or send an email to the website below to find out how to return the bulb. Philips is committed to making high quality products. Returning the bulb will help us monitor and further improve product quality. This replacement is the sole remedy available. and liability for incidental or consequential damage is hereby expressly excluded. It goes on to say, some states do not allow exclusion of incidental or consequential damages, so the above limitations or exclusions may not apply to you. This warranty gives you specific legal rights, and you may also have other rights which may vary from state to state. I wonder how many people actually returned these bulbs and got refunds should they not last as long as they did. I bet most of them did last as long as they should. It probably was based off of date of purchase. And of course the usage time will vary based on location, but I still feel like 3 to 4 hours per day. Well, see, in the summertime that's possible. You know, if it gets dark at 8 or 9 o'clock, lights may only be on for 2 or 3 hours, but then in the wintertime, if it gets dark at 4, the lights could be on for 8 hours a day. Yeah, 8 hours a day. So it depends where you live and what season it is, I guess. Well, those are perfectly good CFLs. I was hoping that they were both new. I was going to put these in the 2 3-way lamps in the bedroom. I could still do that, I suppose, but I don't know how much longer this one's going to last. At least we have one good one that we can use for the entirety of the lifespan of the bulb. One more thing to check before we finish the video is the operating temperature. The ballast is 83, 84 degrees. On the very bottom it's still 67. The tube itself is over 200 degrees. The highest reading I got there was 252, which is exceptionally hot, I think, even for a CFL. But that's why they tell you to use the ballast down, because otherwise all that heat would be going into the ballast and causing the ballast to run unnecessarily hot. Okay, one more section to the video. I just want to turn the lamp off, and it is now operating on all 3 settings. So this is high, medium, and low. There's a very limited difference between medium and low. On low, we are getting 20 watts versus 22, 0.3 amps versus 0.35, and a power factor of 0.56, which I think was about the same. So the lamp is fine. It is the bulb, but that to me is another indicator that the bulb is very high hours.